Run. I get that cash and I flip it, yeah. I get that cash and I flip it, yeah.
Originally, I know I said I was going to wait and drop these videos, and I don't know if I'm still gonna wait at this point because I'm just so over everything that's been going on at my job and just like everything that I've been dealing with, that I don't really, a piece of hair isn't curled, so I don't want it to make an appearance, but I don't really know if I'm going to wait at this point to let these videos go, because it's gotten to the point where I really don't care. Like, my experience has been so trash, and emotionally it's just been so draining, and I'm so unhappy at my job that I'm an outward type of thinker. Like, I'm an outward person. I express outwardly. So I'm not one of those people that could just bottle everything up and just be like, oh yeah, I'm going through shit, but I don't need to talk to anybody. Nobody needs to know. I wish I was one of those people, but honestly, I'm just not. Like, I'm very outward with my feelings, and I really am just tired of suffering in silence. Y'all, it's damn near impossible for me, and it's just causing me a lot of stress and anxiety, and I've just been very down. Like, this has not been a very like a very happy time. And I never imagined that working with Mac, this would be my experience, and that all this would transpire and all this shit would happen. And it just has not been the best. And honestly, I really feel like it goes to show, okay, because I was watching something the other day, and the girl said, she was like, you ever, it was about flight attending or whatever, and she said exactly what I feel. She was like, you're sitting at a job and you're just like, this is not it. Like, this isn't it. This is not my purpose. I don't feel like I'm fulfilling anything. Like, I feel empty when I'm here, or when I'm here, I'm thinking about, everything I could be doing outside of work, and it's just not, like, it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling at all, and I hate it. And that's me every time I step into Mac. Like, literally 2 hours, well, I've never just worked for 2 hours, but 4 hours in there will feel like I'm in there for a whole week. It just, the time goes by so slow because I'm so miserable, and I'm not getting paid enough to deal with what I'm dealing with. And that's another thing that's been kind of feeding into my little bit of depression, honestly. I'm not even gonna lie. Ugh, not even a little bit, honestly. Keep it a buck. I've been really depressed about the situation, just because of the fact that not only do I have all this bullshit going on at work, but in my last video I mentioned that Mac does not really give you any hours, and because of the fact they don't give you hours, I'm just not making any money. So I'm not making any money, on top of the fact that I'm being bullied and harassed and going through all this other crap at work. And it's miserable. Honestly, it's miserable. There's no other way to say it. I feel isolated. I come home sometimes and I'm just like, I get really down. I honestly, as embarrassing as it is to admit, but I'll come home sometimes and I'm just like, I literally just cry at random at this point. Like, because I'm so unhappy with my job and just with where I'm at right now. Like my last video, I made notes because I want to make sure I hit all my points, because I'm bad at telling stories in chronological order, which y'all can see because I just now went on a whole rant, and my whole point was to honestly say that in the video I was watching from the girl, she was saying sometimes you don't feel like it's your purpose or whatever, or you prayed for something so hard and then you got it, and then it's kind of like God's way of showing you like, this isn't for you, this isn't what I have planned for you, this isn't for you, and I gave it to you because you kept on asking me for it, but I'm showing you this isn't for you. And I feel like that's the situation that's been with Mac. Is I feel like this is God's way of telling me like, this is not for you. The grass is not always greener on the other side, you guys. It's really not. And I got what I wanted, and now I understand that this is not at all what I wanted. Whew. So now that all of that is out of the way, I also wanted to say my videos aren't to bash Mac. This has just honestly been my personal experience at Mac. I cannot speak for anybody else's experience. I'm not saying don't work for them as a company. I'm just saying these are things that have been part of my experience, reasons that I don't like working for them, and reasons that I am ready to go. So just to get that out there, I am only speaking for me. It's unfortunate this has happened to me, but I'm only speaking for me. But I will get to all of that, y'all. I'm literally ranting. Okay, so about a week after I made my original why I don't like working at Mac video, which I will link below, I went and I applied to another makeup counter at a mall that was closer to my side of town where I live in Charlotte. So basically that interview went super awesome. Like, it went awesome. They had actually been waiting on me to call. They were like, oh my God, like, she had called the other manager and she was like, hey, that girl that you called who works at MAC, she came in today and, you know, she's interested in the job. I'm about to interview her now. Like, the girl was super excited that I came in to talk to them. And so I was like, oh, okay, awesome. Like, they're excited. Like, this is going to go great. And the interview, to my understanding, went really well. Like, and so when we were doing that interview, towards the end of the interview, and I mean a little bit before the end as well, she had kind of inquired maybe like probably about 2 times why I wanted to leave MAC, because I guess like to other people in the makeup industry, MAC is like this, like, it's like a club or something. It's like, oh my God, you work at MAC. It's literally, they treat it like a sorority. It's like, oh my God, you work at MAC. How'd you get in there? Like, why would you ever want to leave? Like, oh my God, like, she's a MAC girl. So that's kind of like how she was treating me during my interview. She's like, oh my God, like, she's a MAC girl. She wants to come work for us. Like, that's awesome. So she asked me why I wanted to leave MAC. And originally I was just like, you know, I'm just kind of looking to get into something a little different, something more flexible that'll work with my schedule more. And so she's like, okay, cool, whatever. So skip, blah, blah, blah. We talk, everything goes great. We get to the end of the interview. She's like, hey, I have some questions that I'm gonna need to ask your manager. And she had kind of said earlier in the interview, like when I was telling her about my manager, who I named in my last video KJ, so I'm just gonna keep on going with the KJ thing. Like, she had mentioned that she kind of knew him, but not like knew him. Okay, I have to backtrack for a second so y'all will get this. So basically, when I went to go interview for them, because of everything that was going on at my job, I did not put KJ as my manager. I put Lacey as my manager because she had been the second person who had worked at MAC the longest. She was super reliable and she has like managerial, I don't know however you would say it. She has experience as a manager. So I was like, I'm gonna put her because I knew the nature of my actual manager and I knew that he would sabotage this for me. And so I put her name. And so the girl who was interviewing me, she asked me, she said, oh, well, you know, she was like, oh, I know your manager, KJ, right? And I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, so she had asked me why I didn't put KJ as the manager. And I told her, I was like, hey, like, I'm kind of having some minor issues with management, and that's why I didn't want to put him as my manager on my application. She was like, okay, whatever, blah, blah. So we get to the end of the interview, and she asked me, she's like, hey, you know, well, everything's great. Everything's good to go. We really want you to come work for us. And we just have to ask your manager just a couple questions just about like sales and your attendance, just like stuff like that. And so when she said that, I said to her, again, because I was being super honest, because I didn't want any type of surprises. So I was being super honest. I was like, well, questions you need to ask my manager, I'm going to be completely honest. And I was like, I mean this in the most professional way possible. I told her, I was like, I don't trust that he'll tell the truth about what it is that you need to ask him. And so I kept that real honest with her. Y'all, that's my best friend in the back. Also my roommate. You can't really see her, but
I'm putting away dishes out here, don't mind me.
I kept it above with her. I was like, I don't trust that he'll tell the truth about what you need to ask him. This piece of hair is not cool. I'm just going, oh God. So she was like, oh, okay, you know, that's cool. So she was like, well, I'll just ask the lady who's over, there's a lady who is over cosmetics, like not over the whole store that I work at, but she's just over like the cosmetics area. And she was like, okay, well, I'll just ask her. Now, granted, that's the same lady who my manager was claiming that I was mean to her or something, even though me and this lady never speak, but turns out the lady is friends with one of his little minions. I was kind of like in my head, I'm like, oh, fuck, well, this is about to be a dub because neither one of them is going to have anything really good to say, even though this lady does not know me. But I was like, okay, well, maybe, you know, by the grace of God, this will still work. Well, long story short, it did not freaking work. That interview was on a Tuesday. And on Thursday, I went down to go see my friend in Raleigh because he just moved to New York. And this was the last time I was going to see him before he moved. And so went down to Raleigh. I'm hanging out with him all day. And I get a call from a woman who works at another counter. And she's like, hey, I'm just telling you this because I care about you. Because I really like this lady a lot. Like, she's super cool. And she's like, hey, I'm just calling because I really care about you and I like you. And I overheard what was being said about you, and I don't feel like it's fair for me to keep this to myself, so I'm gonna let you know. And I was like, okay, well, you know what happened? And she's like, the job that you interviewed for, mind you, the job that I interviewed for was at a whole nother mall, whole nother cosmetics counter. She's like, well, the job you interviewed for, KJ, and I guess I'll name the lady who's over cosmetics. What can I name her? I actually found out later it was KJ's minion and not the lady over cosmetics, so just keep that in mind.
Doris.
So KJ and Doris apparently had a lot of negative things to say about me at this meeting that they had, and because of everything that they told the woman from the other mall at the other counter, because of everything that they told her, it basically, they sabotaged the whole opportunity for me. So the counter went from being super excited to hire me, and for like, from being like, oh, you know, you'll hear from us in the next 2 days, we just gotta run your background check, like, and you're good to go, this is how many hours you can expect to get. They went from that to they never called me back. And the woman who was on the phone with me, she told me, she was like, hey, like, I just want you to know that they aren't gonna call you back because of everything that they had to say, and which was just like really nasty thing. And then she was like, you know, just really watch what you say in interviews, because unfortunately the truth does not always get you far. And I mean, that's true, the truth doesn't always get you far. Now granted, I'm still a really honest person, but in this instance it just kind of hurt my chances of getting this job, because they took it, they ran with it, and then KJ and Doris took it and they saw the flame and they put gasoline on the flame, and they were like, boom, we're about to sabotage this whole thing for her. Granted, I don't know why KJ would want to sabotage another job opportunity for me, considering the fact that he already didn't like me at the MAC counter, and that would have gave the opportunity for me to go somewhere else, and we wouldn't even have to be bothered with each other. But at this point, it's like more so, I think he just, not even I think, I know he just wants me to be miserable. It's not even really about me not working with him, it's just about me being miserable because he just doesn't like me, and that's the type of things that he gets satisfaction out of. And so them sabotaging that for me was the icing on the cake, like literally the icing on everything. And mind you, this is a week out before HR is going to come from New York to our counter in Charlotte because of everything that's been going on. I was at my last straw. Literally, after I found out that they sabotaged that whole thing for me, I was like, yo, this has for sure gone way too far. I'm pissed. I'm ready to fight. Like, at this point, I was pissed. Like, I was ready to put my hands on somebody. I was fuming. Like, y'all ever been so mad and wanted to fight somebody so bad you cried? I was in my car boo-hoo, bawling, crying, because that's how bad I wanted to fight. I never get like that. I never get like that. Anytime I've ever been in a fight, it's been somebody has put their hands on me first, and it was a self-defense thing because I'm not just about to get my ass beat. But I've never initiated a fight. I'm just not like that. I'll finish it, but I'm not going to start it. I'm just not like that. I don't enjoy fighting. Not my thing. But after I found that out, I was so hot. Everything was piling up. Everything was building up. I wanted to fight bad. So I'm in the car, and I think this was on the way back from Raleigh. And I'm praying. Like, I'm literally in the car. I'm just praying. I'm like, God, yo, if you hear me, I just don't understand why all this is happening. I'm trying to be a good person, but I want to put my hands on somebody. It's for real. Like, I literally was in the car, not even like in your head type praying. I was praying out loud to myself in the car, literally like hitting my steering wheel, because I was like, yo, I want to fucking fight. Like, yeah, so I got back, and at that point, the whole ride home, I was so hot. I was so heated. Because it's one thing when you fuck with me, but when you fuck with my money, you got me fucked up, okay? Like, you got me messed up for real. So the whole way home, I'm just like, yo, when I get home, at this point, I had just been handling everything through MAC's HR. But at this point, I was like, no, F that. I'm going to the department store that I was working at. I was like, I'm going to their HR as well. I'm going to the head of you know, whoever I need to talk to. I'm talking to her too, because y'all are really trying me, and I'm like trying to be as professional as I can, but it's to the point where if somebody does not fix this, there's no telling what I'm gonna do. There's no telling what I'm gonna do next, honestly, because once my temper is there, it's there, and it doesn't come back. So I go home and I type up this email to the department, to the head of the department. Mind you, I got home late. It's like 1 in the morning. But at this point, when I emailed the HR for my department store, I was like, if y'all do not fix this, I will take you guys to court because this is defamation of character. I'm emotionally distressed. I'm just like, there's so much that's coming out of this. Like, I'm being targeted. I'm being blackballed. Like, I literally was like, and then I had evidence. I had pictures. Well, actually, I will get to that later because that ties into what I'm about to say later on. So I emailed them. I told them all this stuff. And I was like, I want to talk to you all about this face to face. That was on Friday morning when I emailed them. I was like, I want to talk to you guys face to face on Monday, and it is what it is, but we will talk. So, that happens. So that is on Friday. So Friday night, by the time I came in Friday night, I was so hot, so livid, so done. I was waiting. There was a customer at MAC. Now, at the end of the day, like I said in my last video, I know how to keep it professional. Once I cross that threshold, I'm professional. So there was a customer there, and I was waiting, desperately waiting on this customer to leave because I was like, yo, as soon as they leave, I'm about to let him have it. I'm going in. Because at this time, like I said, HR hadn't come yet. So I was like, I don't want to do anything to mess up my case. So I was like, but I'm going in. I'm about to let you have it. I'm about to let you know that I'm not with all this fake. I don't care for you to save face. If it's not about work, do not say anything to me. Like, I know that you talk all this junk when I'm not around. Like, I don't know how I would have had that conversation without cussing because I literally wanted to cuss him out, but I was gonna have it. But this client literally was there the whole entire time. I couldn't say what I wanted to say. The other clients were coming as well, so I was just like, you know what? I'm not gonna get to do it today. The next day, Saturday, we did not get to work together. I opened. He came in after I opened. He came in late as fuck. At that, like 2 hours late. 2 hours late to work. So Saturday we didn't get to work together, and then Sunday I was off. So I'm just like, I'm waiting to go off, and I'm just like, dang, I can't go off because at this point it wasn't like I'm trying to call you on the phone, we can discuss this. No, I want to talk to you face to face. I want to let you know how I feel. But we didn't work together that whole entire weekend basically. So Sunday rolls around, and after he sabotaged the job for me, after I've emailed the department store's HR as well and the head of their department store, Sunday comes around and I'm not working that Sunday. So of course, like always, I'm the topic of conversation. So he is basically trying to convince everybody at the other counters that, oh, I just don't understand why she doesn't want to be friends with us. Like, you know, we're never mean to her. He's trying to be like, oh, like, I never say anything. Mind you, Lacey is at work, and that's my bitch, okay? Like, of course, if she hears that, one, she's gonna let me know. Two, she's gonna speak on it because she not no scary ass bitch, and that is what it is. So he's trying to convince these other people of this lie, basically saying, oh, I just don't know why she unfollowed all of us off Instagram or why she blocked all of us, because at this point I had blocked all of them because I was like, no, like, y'all are not about to be on my Instagram. Y'all all be talking shit. I don't want you on any of my social medias, like, none of that. So I had already blocked them. This has been for a minute. I had blocked them. And he's like, oh, well, I've never said anything bad about her. And Lacey is there, like, she's listening to them have this conversation. She's like, really, you're about to tell that lie? Like, you definitely talk shit. And he's like, no, I've never said anything bad about her. And then of course one of his other little minions is like, they're trying to come up with this lie to themselves that she isolated herself and she doesn't want to be friends with us, and we just don't know why, because we're all so nice to her. And that was the lie they were trying to feed each other, was that I isolated myself and I did it to myself. Bruh. So while they're trying to say that, Lacey tells him, she's like, you do understand that she knows everything, right? And he's like kind of like picking and prying, like, oh, like, what do you mean like she knows everything? And Lacey's like, she knows everything you've been saying. Like, she knows a lot more than you think she knows, is basically what Lacey said to him. And he's like, oh, like, what do you mean? Like, what does she know? What all does she know? And Lacey leaves it at that because, like I said, that's my bitch and she ain't no snitch, okay? And she knew at this point I wanted him to know that I knew everything. So she was like, just know she knows. And he was shook. So he's asking her, like, oh, has she gone to HR about it? Like, what is she doing about it? What all does she know? Like, oh my gosh. And Lacey's just like, Mind you, she did know that I went to HR, of course, but like I said, she ain't no snitch. So she was like, I don't know what she's chosen to do about it, but just know that she knows and you need to chill out. So okay, there was stuff going on outside. So she tells him that, and that's Sunday. So the next time I worked with him was that Tuesday. So when I come in on Tuesday, after he's made aware that I know more than he thinks I know, but at this point he still thinks I'm only talking about the glitter comment, of course, because that was in our group chat, and I guess one other incident. I don't know exactly what he was referring to, but one other incident, whatever. So when I come in on that Tuesday, he's like, hey, whatever. He's trying to make jokes with me, and I'm just like, we're not joking. So he's trying to like make jokes with me at first because I guess something had happened early in the day at work, but I'm just like, I don't care. So then he proceeds to go into this super fake, super non-genuine, dry ass apology about, oh well, and mind you, I recorded because at this point I had started recording all of our shifts together because I was like, you got me effed up and I'm not coming to play with you, okay? I'm handling this like I think I said in my last video. I was like, y'all, I was not handling this like Cherry. I'm handling this like Elizabeth, okay? And Elizabeth will take you to court, bitch. So I was recording all of our shifts together at this point. So I have the recording of this dry ass apology. I'm not gonna insert it just because it's not worth inserting. He's like, I just want to make sure that we're all having a good time here and everybody likes their job, and I don't want it to be a situation where you come into work and you feel uncomfortable or you're upset or you're mad about, you know, like anything that's being said and all this shit. And then he's like, oh, and mind you, y'all, at this point I had graduated over a month ago, because this, as I'm making this video right now, I don't know when I'm gonna actually let this video out, but as I'm making this video, this just happened last week. This was last week, okay? So he's giving me this dry ass apology. I've graduated for over a month. He's like, oh, and I found your graduation gift. It was sitting in one of my cabinets. Because mind you, the weekend of my graduation, when he was made aware the first time that I knew about all the shit that he talks, he tried to like text me and stuff, like, and mind you, he never fucking, we're not cool, like, don't fucking text me. So he's like trying to text me, make jokes and shit, like when I was graduating or whatever. He's like, oh, I have a present for you. I'm like, okay, cool, thanks, whatever. So fast forward to now, and then he's like, you know, I never got it, of course, but I didn't care because I already knew it was fake as fuck. So fast forward to now, and he's like, oh, I found your graduation gift. It was sitting in one of my cabinets, ha ha ha, like I have it for you here. I just want to make sure, like, you know, everything's cool. So basically trying to bribe me, and I'm just like, I'm still gonna take this Urban Decay makeup, but we are not cool. Yes, give me that free makeup, give it here, okay, thank you, bye, bye-bye. Like, so the whole time he gives me that, I made sure specifically, I was like, I made sure I did not say, oh, it's cool, apology accepted. I was just like, okay, like, that's it. So basically, after he gives me this dry ass apology, we proceed to go on the floor. Now by this time, I had talked some sense into myself, because mind you, it had been a whole weekend. Actually, no, a whole, like, maybe Friday was the day that I was gonna cuss him out. So it had been, what, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Then I had all of Tuesday, all up until Tuesday evening. So I had like 4 days to really process and be like, hey, look, you are literally a couple days out from HR coming. Do not mess this up. I don't know how I talked myself into not cussing him out, but I talked myself into it, and I held it down, okay? Like, I held it down. I was like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. So we go back on the floor after this dry ass apology, and we proceed to work. Like, we only had to work together for maybe like an hour. So fast forward to Thursday. Thursday was the first day that the HR lady was in our department, okay? So Thursday, she shows up. I don't come in Thursday till 5, and she gets there like earlier in the day. So the person working earlier in the day was his best friend. So the best friend is the one they talked to first. So I guess they took her, they was taking like people upstairs or whatever. So they took her upstairs first, and from what I got by the time I talked to them, I could tell that from some of the questions they were asking me that the best friend had said that I didn't like her because she was white. She said that I didn't like her because she was a Trump supporter. Mind you, y'all, the best friend is not a Trump supporter. She's openly said that she does not fuck with him. She literally, I mean, not to say that you can't be a Trump supporter and still do this, because you definitely can, but she only dates black guys. Your best friend is not only gay, but also a minority. And you were raised by a black man. Girl, we know you not no Trump's girl, but okay, not to say all those things make you not one, but she had openly expressed that she was not one. So she went up there and she said that because it would tie into her argument, because it's easily believable if you go for that, that would be the case, because I don't like Trump. So I guess she just figured, oh, okay, well, it would be believable that I would like him, and it would be believable that she wouldn't like me because I like him. So she went up there and she told them that. And mind you, me and the best friend barely ever worked together, almost never worked together. Not only that, anytime that we have worked together, we have never once, never in the history of ever discussed politics, ever. It's just not something that we talk about there. It's not something that's ever come up. What I also got out of it, because of what they were asking me, was that she said that I smoke weed. I had openly told them, just like in random conversation, that, or I can't say them because me and her, like I said, we barely ever worked together, but the KJ, at least twice that came up, and on both times I was like, I don't smoke. Granted, I used to blow it down, okay? I used to blow it down. I do not mind people that smoke. That does not bother me. I'm cool with it. It does not bother me at all. I just personally, I can't say I just completely don't at all, period, anymore, but it's just kind of so rare that I do. I wouldn't consider myself a smoker. But I guess she told them and I did. And so when they were asking me, I was honest with them. I was like, I was honest with HR. I was like, we've had a conversation before where I told them that I don't smoke. So yeah, we're talking or whatever, and I feel the HR lady, the one from New York, had brought somebody with her from Estee Lauder. So there was MAC HR, and then there was Estee Lauder HR. So like, I talked to both of them, and the one from MAC, she has been awesome throughout this whole experience. And so she was already knowing about everything that was going on. Like, I didn't have to really refill her in on anything, because she took everything that I told her the first time and she remembered everything. She knew names, she knew who was friends with who, like she knew, you know, all that stuff. So it was more so me filling in the one from Estee Lauder. And so in my little piece, I told them everything, and I felt really good after that. So after that, mind you, not only said my piece, I played them the recording, and I also let them know that he also tried to bribe me right before then with some makeup. And I laid all the evidence out there, y'all. When I say I was not coming to play, I had evidence. I had 8 pages of notes. I said that really quick. I had 8 pages of notes. I had, like I said, pictures, audio messages. I had pictures of time cards, all that. Like, I was not playing. Like, I was not playing at all. So they take all that information down. Cool. So I go back downstairs, work the rest of my shift. The next day, which is Friday, they proceed to, you know, talk to everybody else that they need to talk to. So they talk to Lacey, and Lacey's like, girl, I let them know everything. She was like, girl, I was up there talking to them for like 2 whole hours. I was like, dang, girl. But anyway, so she was over there like talking to them for like 2 hours. She let them know everything. And then they proceed to talk to him. Now, granted, I was not working Friday, so this is stuff that I'm getting from, you know, Lacey's keeping me up to date kind of with everything that's going on. And they talked to him, and there were people from other counters who were stepping in to also speak with them as well, because of things they had witnessed. Because like I said, he was very vulgar at the counter, is very vulgar at the counter. He cusses at the counter. He be talking about all kinds of inappropriate things, of like stuff that if we weren't at work, I would totally entertain that conversation, but we're at work. So everybody kind of like got to say their piece to HR on that Friday. And I already knew that he was going to freak out, because like I said, Thursday they talked to his best friend. So the best friend had time to let him know that, hey, they're here and they're, you know, ready to talk to y'all. So basically Friday, everything hit the fan. Shit hit the fan, and it exploded. Like, it literally exploded. So After he got to talk to them, he's panicking, he's freaking out, he's running around to other people at other counters talking about, oh my god, doing what he does best, spreading mess, spreading drama, running around trying to pin, you know, people against each other and trying to make sure people have his back. Or it was crazy. So Friday he's running around trying to spread all these lies or whatnot. So Saturday I come in and I'm working by myself up until a certain point, and then I'm working with him, and then I leave before the other two girls come in. Lacey and Ariel is what I named his best friend. So when I'm there with him, I'm just kind of like playing it cool or whatever, because I'm like, okay, we just talked to HR, I'm trying to wait on the resolution, and I just need to play it cool for now. So we're working together, being super like, I can't even be fake at this point, so I'm just not even like trying to interact with him at all, because I just can't. I lack the ability to be as fake as I would have to be in order to still be in his face, and I can't do it. So I just wasn't really talking to him at all. All this probably isn't going to be in order, honestly. It's probably not. It's a lot to try and remember in order. But in a nutshell, after he found out that I had been speaking with HR, and you know, after HR came and that whole thing happened and they were talking to everybody, he tried to tell the woman who had let me know about the job opportunity being sabotaged by him and Doris. He tried to tell that woman that, mind you, she wanted to stay out of everything. She wanted to remain anonymous. She did not want to be dragged in anything. She was just looking out. It was an act of kindness. She was just looking out for me. So she did not want to get dragged into anything. He tried to tell other people that I was the one dragging her name into stuff. I'm going to call the woman Lala because I'm tired of saying like that woman, okay? But he already did not like her, and he already kind of like had it out for her as well. So he started basically spreading this rumor that, oh, Lala got me in trouble. Lala went and co-signed everything that Cherry's saying, and now I'm gonna get in trouble. Like, she's messy and she spreads rumors. Then he tried to say that I was trying to get everybody against him, and I don't like him, and I'm trying to get everybody to turn against him. Either him or his best friend tried to say that Lacey's boyfriend, who had come with us to his dinner event, like, tried to say that Lacey's boyfriend had brought weed to the event, which he didn't. Lacey found that out, you know, when she confronted him about that. He was like, I would never do that to you. Cherry's trying to turn everybody against me, trying to get in her head to make her feel like I try to throw her under the bus as well. But me and Lacey are on the same page. We're friends, so she knew that was bullshit. Then he went and he tries to say that another girl who works at a completely, I'm gonna call her Taylor, who works upstairs, not even in cosmetic, and he tries to say that, oh, well, Taylor was the one who said that about your boyfriend, and you know, it wasn't me, it was Taylor. Mind you, Taylor was not at this party because Taylor was also tired of all the mess that KJ was spreading about me, because Taylor is cool with me too. And Taylor was like, you know, I don't like the fact that, oh, that's what I'm forgetting. So before all this, I had called Taylor right after I found out the job had been sabotaged on that Friday before HR came. I called Taylor and I was like, hey, I just want you to know that a lot of the stuff that KJ has to say about me isn't true, because I actually like you, you're cool, and I don't want you to believe all this BS that he's saying because everybody else does. So we had a little heart-to-heart on the phone, and when we did, she let me know that she too was a witness to the things that he would say about me, talking about I was broke, I was annoying. She was like, you know, I just really don't like that. That's why I don't come down to y'all's counter as much anymore, because I just don't like the fact that he'll talk so much junk and then go back and smile in your face. And I feel like if he's doing that to you, he's doing that to me and whoever else, who knows. So we had that little heart-to-heart. So fast forward back to what I was saying. Mind you, Taylor was not at the party, and her whole reasoning for not going to the party or any of his other events was that specific reason, because she was starting to see his true colors, and she was like, I do not want to be involved with this. She's chill, she don't be in no drama, she don't be no mess. So he was just going from, he was trying to whisper in one person's ear or something, and then if they didn't believe him, he would try and go to the next person. If they didn't believe him, he would try and go back over here. So he was like doing a whole bunch of that back and forth the weekend after HR came. It's because he was like, oh my God, everything's come out to light, I'm gonna get fired. Like, he was like really nervous. So I think it was like maybe like that Monday, I'm hanging out with my best friend, I'm hanging out with her, and Lacey calls me, or she's texting me or whatever, I'm at the movies, and she's like, girl, that's KJ blowing up my phone, trying to see, you know, what all was said, trying to plead his case, basically trying to backtrack and trying to say, oh, Cherry this, Cherry that. He called her phone like 6 times. more than 6 actually. She showed me more than 6. Trying to manipulate her like he does everybody else, because he lies. Trying to manipulate her into wanting to be on his side, but Lacey's a lot smarter than that, so it's just not gonna work. So, but he tried it, and he would say stuff like, when he would answer the phone, he'd be like, oh, I hope you're not recording this phone call. Like, I talked to my mom about everything, and we were on the phone crying together, and I think I'm gonna get fired, and all this other stuff, trying to get her to feel bad for him. But at this point, Lacey's like, I mean, I told you on several occasions, you need to chill out, you need to stop talking about her, and what you were doing wasn't cool, and you kept on going. So you reap what you sow. This is the bed, you made your bed, now you have to lay in it. And so that all is what has transpired since. I am still waiting. It's been a week since HR came. I'm still waiting to see what's gonna happen, still waiting on the end result. Hopefully this gets handled and it gets resolved, because this has just become a shit show of a whole bunch of drama and mess, and I didn't sign up for this when I applied for MAC. I did not want all of this to happen when I applied for MAC, and I feel like this is crazy, and I've never had anything like this happen at a job, and it's unacceptable, and I'm not with the shit. So yeah, so hopefully this all gets resolved. And when I say resolved, I mean like he needs to be fired or we need to be in court, because that's literally the only 2 options at this point, because this is literally ridiculous, and I'm over it. Like, I am so over it. Having to try and still be professional is giving me anxiety, because I don't know how much longer I can do it. I don't. Hopefully I can shorten this and make it like a 15-minute long, 20-minute long video, because my other videos tend to be long. Like, there's a lot that's happened. They're just long. So yeah, I will keep you guys updated again, and we will see what the end result of this is. So comment below, let me know if you've had anything like this happen to you at a job, anything that's messy, unprofessional managers, just managers that spread gossip, like anything. Let me know. I need to know I'm not alone, honestly. So like, comment, subscribe, let me know if anything like this has happened to you, and I will keep you all updated. Let me know if you have any questions about how to get hired at MAC, what the interview process was like. That's a story within itself. If you have any other questions about what it's like to work at MAC, I am more than happy to answer them for you. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.